You're not getting. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you already know who this is, man. This is the big bad kaiju of STP. This is O'Shea Edwards. And this ain't the 1 count. This ain't the 2 count. No, my man. You listening to the 3 Count podcast.
Hit him with a 3 count. Pin him to the ground and the crowd go wild, man down, know what y'all like. Hit him with a 3 count. On the top row, crowd already know how I fly him to the flow like. Hit him with a 3 count. And your boy real chicka real.
Oh, snap. We definitely forgot to put this screen off. So we're going to surprise people. Yo, what is going on? It is me. That's right. The Air Force veteran intel specialist, the one you call on when you need to get the job done, the champion of chit chat, and the Donnie Wahlberg of the 3 Count podcast. Yo, I don't know why someone told me I look like Donnie Wahlberg, and I've been running with that joke for like way too long now. But this is the 3 Count podcast, the base show. It is what we do out here, but you can only see that it is me here hosting the show today because, family stuff. Things just happen, all right? So big shout outs to Chaz. Big shout outs to Anthony. Keep doing your guys' fatherly duties. I appreciate you guys so much. So we had to go out and get a guest. My man is one of the biggest influencers on TikTok. He is also a pro wrestling fan. He is the Return of the Mac, the one, the only, the biracial Rick.
I appreciate that introduction, my boy. I appreciate that.
Yo.
Oh, yeah, we're about to have some fun.
Hell yeah, man. So, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just, like I said, being a father, working, trying to do content on TikTok, getting ready for WrestleMania weekend, just enjoying life, man.
Yeah, I'm super hyped because WrestleMania week always bring us like all these cool ass like little indie shows that are going on. Not to mention that obviously AEW will be pulling all the stops. Impact obviously is going to have like their big things. We have the Super Card show coming with Ring of Honor. Just so much wrestling that's going to be happening this week. The power rankings that you guys know will not even be a top 10. It will be a top 20 because we did it last year. We did it the year before. We're going to do it again. So, it's going to be massive, man. But so let's talk about these intros and announcements because that's something that Chaz always has me doing because it's Chaz. Chaz does it all the time. But if you guys can look down below on the screen, you see it right there for Twitter, for IG, for TikTok at 3 Count Pod. Follow us there. You guys know what to do. You guys find us on Facebook. You guys can find us on YouTube on 2 different streams, whether it's on a podcast stream, which you're watching right now, or just on our regular channel, the 3 Count Podcast. Find us there. Also, don't forget, we got merch. You guys can go on prowrestlingtees.com/3 Count Pod. Not to mention that on here soon, actually, I'm not quite sure when Chaz wants to launch that, but on whatamaneuver.net, the 3 Count Podcast will also make its debut there. So you guys can buy your merch either on that site or this one. Either way, we want you guys to come out and support us. We do have our Patreon page that's still being in the works. It will be getting launched off. So we're super hyped for that as well. And then last but not least, we got to talk about the stuff that's going on in Studio B. Because in Studio B, we have a couple of awesome-ass interviews that are going to debut. You guys already know about Now Entering the Ring. So let's talk about who's now entering the ring. One of our favorite people, one of my favorite interviews that I think I've done this year so far. No disrespect to everybody else. But Willow Nightingale is going to be coming on the show. We have her when we're doing our interview with her. And then also the submission sniper herself, Jordan Blade, will be joining. So you guys have seen them on AEW Dark. They have also been on AEW. They are amazing talents. And recently I actually got to go check them both out. So whether they're at Invictus or that 1CW, by the way, both shout outs to those guys. Thank you guys for having me out. I definitely appreciated coming through and just chatting it up. So we also got a surprise, and I didn't tell the guys this. I was kind of hoping that they'd be on the show. But if you guys didn't know, you guys can now play as people from the 3 Count Podcast right on WWE 2K22. There you go.
Oh,
it's
snap.
me right there.
Oh, snap. That got me off guard.
You guys can also play as Chaz. He's also on the board as well. Not to mention, I know this one's gonna get a lot of different reactions. You guys know he's in the game too. El Diabito, that's right. Lou, the franchise himself, is in the game. You guys see him right there. And then last but not least, the Dark Lord himself, Damon Fatale, is in the game. So you guys can now run with us in 2K22. It's going to be a lot of fun to see you guys. You guys put your matchups together. Put us with whoever, okay? Whether you want a guy who can't see me, or maybe the master of the 619, or you just want to see us beat up, I don't know, X-Pac. I don't really care. Just let us know, and then get us the hashtag. Give us the hashtag 3Count Podcast, and let us know who you wanted us to be matched up with, because we definitely want to see your guys' matches. But let's get into some of these topics, right? So we do have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today, but we are going to start off with our first topic. Normally we would start off with match of the week, but I feel since Chaz isn't here, I'm going to rearrange the order. So let's talk about the one guy that every person wants to talk about because his amateur career is over with. Gable Stevenson has ended his career. Also, crazy enough, I have to make an adjustment really quick because we have a run-in for some reason. Someone decided to join in late. Let's get him moved in. It is El Diabito himself, Lou the franchise.
It is your favorite wrestler, Noah Samoan. Decided that my wife could take care of the kids for a little bit while I lay in bed and do this damn thing.
But well, it's weird that you're like also on your selfie stick. That's super strange. Anyway, aside from that, so let's talk about Gabe Stevenson, right? So he's finished up his amateur career. He was big on the Olympic scene and obviously winning a gold medal, and then coming back, winning his second NCAA heavyweight championship. Everybody knew he was heading to WWE. So the question is, what is the ceiling for Gabe Stevenson? So we'll start with biracial. We'll head to the diabetic one, and then I'll wrap it up.
Well, to me, I mean, I feel like the standard a little too high. Like, I'm not saying they're trying to hype him, but I feel like this is his name and what he's been doing, they're going to try to hype him up for like another Brock Lesnar situation, like when he came out of the collision wrestling. So I feel like if they try to overhype him too much, that's just going to bring him down even more. So I feel like they just need to treat him as like just a mid-carder, let him grow, not just put him at the top at that thing, because that's what's going to bring him down more than anything. They sit there and just over-pursue him right off the get-go. That's how I feel about him.
Lou's on you.
All right, so me getting to watch Gable Stevenson live this last Big Ten championships here in Lincoln, I can tell you the dude is fast, smooth, flexible, agile. That ceiling and he's young. That ceiling is so high, it's not even funny. I think that biracial Rick is right. You need to push him as a mid-carder right now and let him grow. But I think that he's going to grow fast. Yeah. Have you seen him do his moonsault or his backflip? The dude is athletic as fuck.
Yeah, but my problem is I feel like the ceiling is going to be set up way too high that he's going to flounder. Because the number one thing is that WWE is not going to really know like what to do with him. Like they have another dude who's a former Olympian on their roster, and they don't know what to do with him. Like, sure, he's gaining traction now with Alpha Academy, but for the longest time, like Chad Gable was just struggling. Like he was just kind of swimming all over the place, and they were trying to figure out what to do with him. They shortened him down, Shorty G. They brought him back up. They gave him Alpha Academy. He was in Team Alpha, then he was in Team Beta, and then he became like, just like there's so much things that they were trying to like accomplish, but they couldn't get anything going. And unfortunately, I feel like because they already have their dude who's their next, like, quote unquote, Brock Lesnar, right? And I say in Harlan, because he's on NXT 2.0, he's coming up. They made him shave his head because they're like, hey, you do look like Brock, so we need you to like get a different look. So they're already trying trying to pull him away from like the Brock Lesnar type, but he's like, that kid is like very, very jacked. And I think when it comes to Gable Stevenson, the problem I have is that when you have these guys who are Olympians, whether it was Kurt Angle, Mark Henry, Ronda Rousey, Chad Gable, they've all floundered right off the jump or like midway through, and just it took them a long time to get their feet back. And I'm kind of worried that's what's going to happen with. He's going to start off hot. We're all going to be all behind him. We're all going to be like, yeah, America, Olympic medal, gold medalist. That's why I've always been cheering him. And then he's going to founder and be like, he sucks. He's not good for the. We brought him up too quickly. Send him back to NXT. And then we're going to be like, then I think probably by like the 10th year, we're all going to be like, he's so cool. But I feel like we're going to ride this like ridiculous roller coaster for a little bit with him. Oh
yeah.
And I don't want to put any downer on him. I just think that that's just what's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping, Brad. Like, I just don't want them to overhype him because, like your friend said, he's athletic. He's got that charisma. He's good, but I don't want them to over push this man to the point where he gets boring within the first few years, and then he just goes down to mid card and then he ends up getting released in the future. I do not want it to happen to him because I feel like he could be a star. They just got to use him right. That's the big issue, is using him right.
And the funny thing is that we're all gonna like him at first, right? It's gonna I'm gonna tell you the pattern is gonna happen. We're all gonna like him at first, and then somewhere between like the 10-month range or maybe a little sooner, right? We're all just gonna hate him, right? And then he's going to change his gimmick. And then we're all going to get behind him. Because it's the WWE formula, and it's just how it works, right? If you're Kurt Angle, you're the Olympic medalist, and then you're talking about being an Olympian, and the crowd boos you, and then you become a heel, and then people tell you that you suck, but then they start cheering you because they say you suck. Or you're Mark Henry, and you come out, you're like this big, like, I'm the strongest man, and then like you get booed, then you put you in the nation domination, and then the Rock and you kind of take off, and then you help give birth to a hand, and then people start cheering you because you're sexual chocolate. Or maybe it's just I just see the rotations like happening, and I'm like, damn, this is gonna be insane to see happen. You gotta unmute yourself, bro.
Yeah. There you go. I would love to see Sexual Chocolate 2.0 though.
No.
Oh man. No.
Fucking hey, Gable Stevenson, do it, dude.
Yo, you know what's gonna be I want him to come out and just be him and have fun. And then like obviously like he's gonna turn heel. We're all gonna like boo him. Like at some point he's gonna turn heel. We're gonna like talk about how much we hate him, and then he's gonna make one move and we're all gonna cheer him, and we're gonna be like ecstatic about him because whether it's the Rock or the Shield, I feel like that's the kind of pedestal I'd like to see him like kind of on that same projection. And I think he's going to have a long career, but he's going to be awesome. I'm just curious to see like, I see the phases, and I think WWE just has to remember to play the long game and not play like, what do you do for me today versus what are you going to do for me?
Basically not trying to make him like another John Cena, or just basically shoving him down our throats the whole time.
Right. Well, Roman's the same way.
Hey, come on now. That's no. Team now.
Let's be real though. Well, Roman Reigns, when he broke off from the Shield, like they were just four main events in a row, man. They were like, he's our main eventer. And then what did we do? We rejected the shit out of him. My man left for like 8 months, came back as the tribal chief, and we booed him at first. And then we just find ourselves like, we acknowledge him.
It's hard to boo someone when they're on top of their game. I don't care if you're a heel, good guy. I don't care. It is hard to boo someone that's on top of their game like that.
It's true. All right, so final thoughts. What we got? So all kind of in agreement. Like, he's got a
mid card, motherfuckers.
You're a mid card,
and not even that. I feel like if they would do it right, they need to make him a heel at first. They got to have him come in like with a cocky attitude and just that he needs to be a heel. Let that man be a heel first. Let him build as one of the most hated heels. Let him build off that. That's what they need to do at first.
I need him as a face. I need him as a face first, And I say this because if you have him as a face, the people, and here's what you do. You legit just follow Kurt Angle's model. You have him come in as a face, right? You like, I'm the hometown boy, like I'm the American hero, blah, 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 blah. And then like if the crowd starts booing, legit let him get out of the ring, grab a mic and be like, you don't boo me. I'm an Olympic gold medalist, and just go from there. And I'm sure the crowd like turns like super hard. And then you can make that swerve into a heel. But yeah, you need him to be a baby face first so that the crowd can kind of support him and then just turn on him 100%.
No, he just needs to straight up walk into the main event and low blow the face and be a heel.
Low blow the face and be heel. Okay.
Right off the get go, just straight.
Right
just
off the
straight
fucking get go. like almost Sean Spears it, dude, and to smack the fuck out of somebody with a chair and make him bleed.
Yo, first that was an accident. First
off, it still worked though.
I mean, sure, the chairman, because yeah, you know what? We're just gonna move on. And so we're gonna get into match of the week. So, match of the week. Here's how it works, Rick. We're just gonna talk about our match of the week, like our favorites. I have the Red Dog Power Ranking, so I'll give my honorable mention. But for everybody else, what was your guys' match of the week?
Who's going first?
Go ahead.
Go ahead because I don't have one.
I'm going the 8-man Texas Tornado tag match on AEW. Easily entertaining. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a fun match to see, like all the chaos through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm gonna put my I always give my honorable mention whenever we do match of the week because I do have the Red Dogs Power Rankings. But let's talk about Gunther versus Duke Hudson on NXT 2.0, or formerly known as Walter, but Gunther versus Duke Hudson NXT 2.0. That was my honorable mention for match of the week. Walter's chops, man. Just one for the ages.
Earring. Oh man.
To be in like NXT studio when you hear that man chop somebody, like breathtaking, figuratively and literally. I don't know if you guys heard the story, but they were talking. So it was Wrestle Talk was talking to Walter, and they were asking him if we lost like an event, could we have one of the punishments is that you chop us? And the guy told him that his trainer was like, I'm just gonna let you know that if Walter was to chop you and you weren't ready, he will stop your heart. I was like, that's intense. It's an intense way to get killed. We're gonna move on to our second topic. Obviously, we are kind of cooking through this, but let's talk about our second topic, which I think is going to be one that we're going to be kind of, I don't know, maybe divided on. So let's talk about it. So Finn Balor wins the U.S. Championship, and in his first match, he loses immediately to Damian Priest. And then you have Ricochet, who wins the Intercontinental Championship from Sami Zayn, also goes back and defends it. But then in his first real feud, he loses to Angel Garza and then loses again in the same night to Humberto Carrillo. So to me, it feels like if you're going to put the title on somebody, you should make them be a bigger thing, especially if it's an Intercontinental title, because that's obviously your workhorse title and it's been a prestigious title at that. But it kind of already shoots yourself in the foot because you really have nowhere to really be when you have somebody lose clean and then you turn around and just let them lose their next following match. So is it a waste already to have Ricochet and Finn Balor losing their first matchups?
I wouldn't say Finn Balor for the most part because of the fact I feel like they're going to build that for him to be the demon at WrestleMania. Like I feel like that's just a given. But Ricochet, I don't know. The Intercontinental title, I feel like it's just been, like you said, the workhorse title. It's been more, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's been a joke more than anything within the past year. And then that's just how I feel about it. Now they're having him lose, like you said, twice in one night. I feel like now they're just trying to find a desperate situation to make the Intercontinental Championship match for WrestleMania. So I don't know. I just feel like more of anything, it's more of a joke than anything to me when it comes to that title. But the Finn Balor situation, I can understand that, like them trying to build for the Demon Balor at WrestleMania.
Go ahead, Lou.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with him. And if Demon Balor doesn't come out, I'm gonna be really, really angry. I think it's almost a waste of even airtime and showtime by having them lose in the same night like that. That's absurd, considering that how talented both those men are. And I don't know. I think it's just bad booking, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think having Finn Balor lose to Damian Priest to help set up this whole, like, because I know like they're trying to do like that Dr. Hyde, Mr. Jekyll kind of thing with Damian. So to have Damian come out instead of like Priest, and then you want to have like the Demon versus instead of Finn Balor, it's too much like Sister Abigail versus the Demon, right? When they were trying to set that whole thing up before Finn got, or it wasn't Finn, Bray got sick and couldn't perform. It's just weird, like that dynamic that they're trying to set up right now, and I'm just not with it. I think it's very lazy booking that you're gonna be like, well, Finn Balor can't beat Damian, but the Demon can. But like, just not with it. It's just not my thing. So I'm not really too with that, just personally. And then the whole thing with Ricochet, like Ricochet beats Sammy, and then because of like obviously Sami Zayn getting, or not Sammy, but Johnny Knoxville getting involved. So it's like almost you're telling like Ricochet couldn't have won the Intercontinental title without Johnny Knoxville's interference twice, and now he's like not able to beat Humberto or Angel in a one-on-one. And it's like, so and realistically, like he did win the title, right? So technically he is 1-2 currently. But if you really think about it, the man is like 0-4 because you kept Sami Zayn strong versus Ricochet in the roll-up to build that match towards WrestleMania. Your Intercontinental Championship just kind of gets devalued just a little bit because of what happened. And the other part is, like, Shinsuke Nakamura didn't really defend that title that much, so that belt fell and devalued. And then you put it on Sammy. Sammy loses it because of Johnny Knoxville, so that kind of brings it down. And then you have him lose twice in one night. Like, the belt in itself, like, that title is like, listen, at one time, The Miz even said it himself. Like, he was the one holding the only title while, Brock was out doing his own thing. And the prestige level that The Miz had the Intercontinental title at was unmatchable. And now you're like, instead of it being where it's supposed to be, like just right underneath like the WWE heavyweight as well as the Universal, it's more kind of right here. Like, I don't want to say it like this, but it's kind of like the 24/7 title right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so in the way to, I think, like help like rebuild this booking, right, is right now the one thing you're gonna have to do is obviously they did with Finn, where Finn was like in a tag match and he got the win, so can I get some momentum rolling back up? You're gonna have to do the same thing with Ricochet. Ricochet's gonna be in the same boat where you can put him in a tag match. He's gonna find that one person. They're gonna beat Angel and Humberto, and then at WrestleMania it's gonna be obviously like a triple threat match, and then Humberto and Angel are gonna be battling. They're gonna obviously like collide because they're gonna wanna. Each one of them is going to want to win the Intercontinental title, but then obviously Ricochet is going to come through and win it. So it's predictable, but you're going to have to build that story pretty strong.
Is it on the main show or is it on that Friday night SmackDown?
That's even worse. That's even worse that the Intercontinental title cannot be featured on WrestleMania.
I don't like that at all. I just don't like it.
Bad booking.
But yet you're going to find a spot for Johnny Knoxville and Bad Bunny and Jake Logan or Logan Paul. Like, yeah, all those guys are all going to be there.
Logan.
Cool. Yeah. Jake Logan, Logan Paul.
They're
Sorry,
both the
Jake.
same people.
Sorry, Jake.
Jake.
I love you, Jake.
I'm
But yeah, so
not gonna sleep on that match between Johnny and Sam. I know that match is gonna be more like a entertainment wise, but I'm not gonna sleep on that match because I am interested in seeing what WWE's gonna let Johnny Knoxville do during that match too. So I'm kind of what they're gonna try to do during that.
You not even just do, but go through like him being a Jackass member. Like, how much pain are they gonna really let him go through?
well, I mean, it's a street fight and
Yeah.
WrestleMania, so you know that one, all the Jackass guys are gonna get involved in the match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I can't wait.
I can't wait to see Steve-O. Like, I'm gonna be 100%. I can't wait to see Steve-O take a haluva kick in a corner. Like, I like Steve-O, but just to see Steve-O just get crushed by a kick, it's gonna be so funny.
Chris Dunn's coming back.
I'll stop the ring. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, you know what? And yeah, I need like Apollo, Cruz, and Commander Aziz to get involved, and I just want to see Commander Aziz like give Chris Pontius like the nail, and just throw it back to when Umaga just destroyed them. I just want that throwback.
All right, we know the this is where the jig is up, and Chris Dunn is coming back.
Oh.
That's yeah. No.
No.
I was like, and it's not even Chris, it's Ryan, you idiot.
Ryan Dunn. Thank you. Fucking Ryan Dunn. I was trying to think we always know him as Dunn.
Yeah. You gotta know the right one though. All right, so we're gonna get to our other favorite segment of the show. Everybody knows it. Heat check. So how's heat check work? Well, one, it's pure speculation. It's because it's us. But more importantly, we're gonna talk about one of our hottest wrestlers of the week and coldest wrestlers of the week. And yeah, so you can pick out your hot one, you pick out your cold one, and we're gonna talk. We'll talk about them if you guys want to. So, Rick, the floor is yours. Let us know who's your one hot and your cold wrestler of the week.
Well, I have to go hot wrestler. I'm gonna have to go Roman Reigns. I mean, you got to. The man is on top of his game. No matter, he's been for weeks now, months actually. Yeah, I got to go with him. I like the storyline they're doing with him and Lesnar right now. But cold, just because I feel like they're treating him unfairly, which I know what they're building for. Like, I get it. Like, they're getting this man his moment. I just don't like how they're doing it because it's making it boring. I feel like he deserves better. But I'm gonna go Seth Rollins. I'm gonna say go for him for cold because I feel like it's boring what he's doing this past week. But everyone knows what they're building for, so that's why I'm not trying to stress. I know what's about to happen.
All right, Lou, it's you.
All right, so I have not watched much wrestling over this last week just because of the stuff that I've been going through with my son, but I've been slowly keeping up with it. I don't have a cold wrestler, but my hottest wrestler right now is Jeff Hardy and everything he's doing right now for AEW.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, that's fair. So I think for me, I think hottest wrestler of the week. He didn't even have a match, man. So it's my tribal chief, your tribal chief, the man that sits at the head of the table. Your defending, reigning champion, Roman Reigns is gonna be my. And then my coldest wrestler of the week. We gotta keep this joke running because he still hasn't answered us yet. Shawn Spears. That's it.
Oh.
Answer us, Sean.
Yeah. At some point, like, he's gonna pop on the show. I know it's gonna happen, and we're all gonna be like, "Hey, man, so yeah, you're not our coldest wrestler of the week this week, but
oh no, definitely he is still gonna be the coolest wrestler of the week."
Yeah.
Down.
Be like, what did I do? Exactly.
Exactly. What have you done?
Oh man.
But it's been like a running joke now for like the last 6 weeks now, so we just keep it going.
Oh man.
Yeah, all right. So let's get into this, right? We're getting into our last topic. It is. Okay, so it's gonna be kind of hard for me to talk about this one because I'm a huge fan, and it's very sad to see. But Triple H formally announced his retirement this past week. Pretty much like the biggest news that hit. It's tough because like whether you loved him or hate him, right, and either end of the spectrum, like you just gotta pay respects to what the man did, right? Whether it was on camera, off camera, like building a brand, you know. So yeah, it's really kind of tough. So I want to go around and just kind of talk about like our favorite memories of Triple H in the ring. And we can go from there. So we'll let our guests go first, and then Lou, you can take it, and then I'll finish it up.
All right, ladies first.
Oh,
Chief
man.
fans first.
Oh, oh man.
I mean, listen. So we'll put his business out there. We feel bad for you because Tyreek is gone. Just like the cheetah, we was just like this.
I can't support an unloyal player. I can't.
The death of the threat ball. Patrick Mahomes is finally gone.
I'm telling you right now, Pat is going to prove to the NFL that he does not need Tyreek this year. He's going to prove that.
Yeah, and every defense is going to prove that they can't get burned anymore.
Oh.
We're all gonna watch as the cheetah goes like this in Miami and takes off, and Kelsey's like, "Where's the deep threat?"
Listen, he lost his deep threat, and he might as well lose the catch up for his steaks too.
Oh man! Oh, oh man! Triple H.
Oh, did we forget to mention that we're Bronco fans too? I think we did, Anthony. We definitely did not.
Crazy. That's gonna be crazy. At the bottom of the division, that's crazy. Oh man,
it says, "Hey man, we got Russ. We ain't worried about no more."
Oh man,
we need a good quarterback. That's it. We all right.
Picked up by the Broncos. That was a good move. I like that because at the end of the day, I've always liked Russell Wilson. He's always been one of my top 3 quarterbacks in the league. So I respect Russell Wilson 100%.
Yeah, no doubts. But yeah, we'll get back into the wrestling side of things.
Triple H, my favorite moment. I'm gonna say probably one of his heel moments. Honestly, one of my favorite is when he turned on Randy Orton. That was one of my favorite moments that he's ever done. But as far as his health goes, oh man, I don't know. It's hard to talk about that because him having 3 girls and the situation, it sucks. But I always respected him as one of my top 3 wrestlers of all time because it didn't matter what that man did. He always made you hate him, and he was the best at it. I don't hear nobody says no one compares to Triple H when it came to having being hated. It was Triple H. Him and Edge are my top 2 of all time. But Triple H, it doesn't matter for 20 years, he was a heel, and he always found a way to make you hate him, no matter what it was. And I just enjoyed that more than anything. But yeah, it sucks. Prayers go out to him and his family. I hope he can get through that situation with no issues. But yeah, it sucks. Because me being a father myself, I know how that feels. Being scared to something happens, you're not being there for your kids no more. It sucks, and yeah, it's a bad situation. I just don't like seeing him go through.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there. I can't pick a moment with Triple H because with bad or good, heel or face, because everything he did, either when he was a face, you loved him. When he was DX, you loved him. The goofy shit him and Sean would do, or him and Road Dogg and the Outlaws would do, or when he was a heel, he did his job, and he did his job so good that we either hated him or we really loved him, and there was no in between. It's like he's not Goldberg because there's moments that we can really love Goldberg, and there's moments that we really hate Goldberg, but there's a lot of moments in between where we're like, he's not so bad, or he's not that great. Triple H, opposite. I fucking hate him or I really fucking love him.
Mhm.
And so there's so many memories that you can say that he has done, invading WCW, drugging Stephanie McMahon and making her marry him. I mean, just everything that man has done for this business puts him at the all-time greatest. And it's not even a top 3. He might be the number 1 greatest wrestler because of everything that he's done between all the factions and all the singles success that he's had. There's so many. If I have to pick one, oh, that's a hard one. I still love the shenanigans him and DX put together with Vince McMahon, that their second run together with him and Shawn. The whole I love cock, the taking over the equipment bus. That was probably one of my favorite segments of Triple H's.
So, like, you guys both bring up solid points. Like as a dad, it's scary to think like you have like this heart problem where you're not sure what's going on, but you're losing like output of the heart like almost every hour on beat, right? So like he was talking about like on one time like his heart was only putting at like 55, like a pressure out was like 55, and then like next time they checked him it was like 33, and then they checked him again, it was like 22. It was down to like 12 at one point. Like just like they couldn't figure out what was going on, so to like finally figure it out and kind of help him and get him the surgery he needed was like massive. But obviously it was at the expense of like his career, which, let's be real, like we're all going to choose life over a career. It's just going to be those things. So like it's scary because you don't know what's going on. At first you think like you just have like this light kind of cold and you can't figure it out, but just then as the doctors run more studies, you start figuring it out. And like that's crazy. So my heart goes out to Hunter. I just wish nothing but the best for you and your family and on your next career moves. I know like you're still doing things behind the scenes, but I'm just saying like, hey, like, from one dad to another, man, I'm just glad you got your stuff like handled. And, I can't wait to see what you do in the future. For me, I'm not even going to fake the funk, man. February 21st, 2011. This was actually the day that The Undertaker came back as the last outlaw. And I was cooked. So I'll never forget this moment because I was in Hawaii in the Air Force, right? And I was cooking, right? And as I'm cooking, I hear the chains rattle, right? And I was like, oh, it's Undertaker. So I like run out to go see. And I remember running around my kitchen. I'm like watching the TV. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's Undertaker. He'll probably cut some kind of promo and just say something really kind of like elaborate and just like call somebody out, right? So I'm like, all right. So I just walk back to the kitchen. And as I walk back to the kitchen, I hear, doom, it's time to play the game. And I was like, what the fuck? And I remember running back around to the living room. And my wife was mad because she was pregnant with our daughter at the time. And yeah, I think I burnt the food too because like I was just so locked into seeing Triple H and Undertaker just staring at each other. No one said anything, not a single word. They just looked at each other. They both looked at the WrestleMania sign. They would look back at each other. And I remember Undertaker was just like, "Urgh." And then Hunter was like, suck it. And like, then the promo ends. That's it. That's all you saw. No words were said. But I remember like the goosebumps just like forming like over my body, like as I'm watching these two behemoths like get ready to make a clash at WrestleMania. And it was a no holds bar match. It was so much fun to watch that WrestleMania. But more importantly, just that 20 to 30 seconds of, or that, I'm sorry, it was like 3 minutes. Just those two not saying anything, and the crowd just so electric for these two guys returning was just, to me, it was just so massive. And I'll never forget that moment because, one, it also came after this, my favorite greatest moment of WrestleMania, just in WWE history, with The Rock returning to be the guest host of WrestleMania that same year. So it was cool to see, and that's like my favorite moment of like Hunter. Like post that, obviously the stuff that he did with DX, and I'm not even talking about the first generation with like Shawn. I'm talking about like that second generation with like X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws, where they went to WCW and were like knocking at the door in a tank. Like, the stuff that they did, I was like, these are like my favorites. Loved everything with Evolution. I think that was very important. I loved when Legacy like had their faction running, and then obviously you had Shane, Vince, and you had Hunter all come back to fight. Like there's just so much cool stuff that you could talk about, and the impact that Hunter had like on just wrestling itself. NXT Black and Gold, like the massive matches that we were getting because of how he was producing NXT. So like this man was like, hey, I don't want to borrow anybody else's like catchphrase, but he was the certified G, and like he tore the roof down every time, man. So I was definitely hyped. Or how about when Rob Van Dam did the frog splash off the Elimination Chamber and landed on his throat, and Hunter continued the match. So toughness on this man's level is on another part, man. Guy comes back from 2 torn quads to wrestle. Like it's just everything that this man has done. It's just been electric, and sorry, Rock, but it is what it is.
I'm pretty sure if the Rock was watching, he wouldn't even care about what you said, man. He wouldn't even care.
No, he would say the same thing. And then you also got to talk about the stuff he did with the Click. Like, I mean, he's just Hunter in itself, man. Like he talk about like one of the guys, like probably one of the most underrated performers of like our like generation, because like like Hunter Helmsley like start off, it wasn't really catching fire, and then as he's shortening it down to Hunter, right, and just takes off with DX and him and Shawn doing their thing, and then just Triple H becomes like the game, and just things just start kind of falling into place for him. It was just, this man's had like a career that's just
you would almost say he wrestling is evolutioned because of him.
Yeah.
I'm not even that. If you want my honest opinion, I feel like WWE got saved because of the stuff he did in the back too, like with NXT and having some kind of production in the back. I feel like at one point he did save WWE at one point too. He made WWE more interesting when he did NXT. He made it more fun and more entertaining. Because I ain't gonna lie, there was a point I was watching NXT more than all of SmackDown. NXT was just that show for a while, and he is the main reason for that. And you can't hate the man that he knows what he's doing. He's good at what he does.
Well, there was a point in time where like the takeovers were getting so much more popular than the actual pay-per-views that they were trying to run. And like I remember, I think there was like a topic, there was a discussion at one time where people in the back, like in the main roster, were upset that they weren't having as good of matches as the guys on NXT were having.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people were like talking about wanting to come back to NXT, whether you were like Dolph Ziggler or The Miz, John Morrison, whether you were KO, Sami Zayn, all those guys all wanted to come back to NXT, and they wanted to wrestle because they're like, dude, like these guys are tearing down the roof every single night, and every single takeover, they're just obliterating the competition. Like I think, right, that, and this might be like the boldest statement I might say on this podcast, and a lot of people are going to hate me for it. That's fine with me. I don't really care. But NXT Black and Gold's takeovers at its peak were better than what any AEW pay-per-view is.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can throw the finger up, throw the food up if you want to, but yes, hands down, I totally agree with you.
The 6 matches that we got from NXT Black and Gold, every takeover, I felt like were just 20 minutes of just a bomb fest, but they are always produced so well. Where in AEW, and I don't want to knock AEW, any AEW pay-per-views, because they're all really good. But the problem is that sometimes you have 1 or 2 matches that just kind of drag, and it wasn't like that with Black and Gold.
I actually had a privilege of watching one NXT takeover. It was in Brooklyn. It was a Ricochet and Aleister Black versus the War Raiders. Velveteen Dream versus Matt Riddle. And I think Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Every single match was a 5-star. There was so much, and I went to Raw, the Raw after Mania that weekend too. I had more energy from NXT than I had from that Raw, and probably that WrestleMania too. The biggest moment in that WrestleMania was Kofi when he won the title. I didn't feel none of that energy until I was at NXT TakeOver, 100%.
Go on, Lou. I know you want to say something. There's a reason why you unmuted yourself. Bet. All right. So we're going to take this to everybody's favorite segment that's here on the 3 Count podcast. It is the Red Dogs Power Rankings. And I'm not going to do like Chaz does.
Dun, dun, danger zone, danger zone. I got you, Chaz. That's as far as it goes, though.
Ridiculous. All right. So I did give my honorable mention match, right? We did talk about Gunther versus Duke Hudson on NXT 2.0. Rick, you brought up a great point about the 8-man tag match. I will be honest, man. I'm not a huge fan of multi-man matches, and the reason why is because I do like watching matches that make me like get involved, like get interested in like matches, and it's usually a tag match or a singles match. But I did enjoy that 8-man tag match as well. But it is not on this list. So let us talk about the matches that start us off. At number 10, we're going to talk about Tasha Steelz versus Mickie James. This was a street fight on Impact. It starts us off at number 10. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but I would really suggest you guys do. Number 9, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jimmy Uso on Smackdown. This definitely belongs on the list because this was just a fire match. I love seeing both these guys work, by the way. Let's get into number 8. This was also coming from Impact. We have Mike Bailey versus Laredo Kid versus Willie Mack. So, guys, Twitch, if you guys want to go watch Impact, it's you gotta go back and check that match out. Let's move into number 7. It was Solo Sikoa versus Roderick Strong on NXT 2.0. It's fire. So we're gonna move into number 6. It was good to see this man come back, but it was bad because of the circumstances on why he came back. Xavier Woods versus Ridge Holland on SmackDown. I love seeing Xavier Woods back. So glad he's back from injury as well. Number 5. This is the benchmark match, and I feel like a lot of people are going to get pissed when I say this. AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins on Raw. Like, this match was so good, but it is number 5 because the other matches that I put on here were a lot more electric, and I'm not even going to front. I'm not even going to lie when I say this, right? So we're going to move into number 4. It was Sasha Banks versus Rhea Ripley versus Queen Zelina Vega on SmackDown. Much love to that match. We're going to jump into number 3. This is the one match that I know no one else saw because unless you were there last night physically to watch this match, it was Camille versus Allie Katch at 1CW. Camille, being the NWA Women's Champion, took on Allie Katch. The match was so good. So good. That was the electricity that you could feel in the crowd that night was amazing. So let's go into number 2. It was Ricky Starks versus Swerve Scott on Rampage. To be there live, I can only imagine that it would be so much awesome. And I think that this match was very, very needed to be seen by fans. So I definitely have to put that out there. Last but not least, my number 1 match for this week. It's going to be CM Punk versus Dash Harwood on Dynamite. So, yeah. So if you guys didn't check out that match, it was a fun match. It was really good on Dynamite. And it is just 2 guys who work, who can put over, get a crowd to, can do everything. So, let's go. So that is the power rankings for this week. Lou, I know you have something you want to talk about.
I do. So, I'm using this platform like I normally do when something happens in our life. And I'm not going to talk about what happened this week with my kid, but for the first time I've actually been on this podcast, I've been able to feel comfortable enough to talk about this. February 4th, 2022, we lost a great man named David Boyles. He was a father/brother to me. One of my best friends, Dominic, his father passed away all of suddenly. And I wanted to take today to finally be able to give him a shout out and say that we miss you. Your son's in good hands. Your family's in good hands. You know that we and my wife got you. My kids lost a grandpa, and I couldn't imagine life without you like we're doing now. But we miss you, Dave, and thank you for everything that you've ever done for us.
Big shouts. So Rick, let our viewers and our listeners know where they can find you.
You can find me. You can mainly find me on TikTok, and that's what I'm known for. Return the Mac King. It's at biracial_Rick. You want to see funny pickup lines or comedy? I'm the man to come see on TikTok. So if you can drop me a follow at biracial_Rick and come enjoy the fun.
Hell yeah. That's what your boy does. He just like hops in and just be y'all be laughing and stuff, like seeing all your content. Like I do put it out there.
Oh man. Appreciate that.
So you guys know what that means. And you know what? I know Chaz has his way of doing this, but we're gonna do this like we do this on Now Ancient Reign. But first, before we end this off, guys, make sure to go follow us on all of our socials. You see it right there on Twitter at 3count_pod, on IG at 3countpod, on TikTok at 3countpod. And then make sure you guys hop on prowrestlingtees.com/3countpod and follow us, and buy our merch, right? The t-shirts. Right, they're there. There's also another one up there. Actually, Lou's wearing his. And then, one other thing that you guys need to do, it's like every good wrestling match. You got to take it home because this is the 3 Count Podcast Debate Show. And I've been your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller. That's right, the man that leads you up this mountain called wrestling. But more importantly, we will see you next time. So either tune in or, be there, or what Chad says, be somewhere else. Peace.